It's Cougar Sports Saturday.
Bear inside the 5. Bear into the end zone. It's a touchdown.
Cougar Sports Saturday, a presentation of KSL Sports.
Rob Wright the third just won it for BYU.
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Nate Slack, on your legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday. Hour number 2 is off and away. Mitch Harper and Nate Slack here with you. August 8th, Mitch, we're slowly approaching football season. I cannot wait. And one of the things that has me most exciting is just the fact that BYU has so much returning production, offense and defense. And I think it all starts with quarterback Bear Bachmeier.
That it does. 6'2", 240 pounds. He, was playing at around 250. Aaron Roderick said this week, which very interesting. So he shed a little bit of weight, looks good. He got the haircut again. I will say, I'm a little sad that he once again got the haircut as he did last year in fall camp. I wanted to see that hair flowing as he had it at his concert and at Big 12 Media Days. That's what I wanted from Bear, but he did another haircut this year. Look, last year worked out great, so maybe he's just following the routine of last year and following the same blueprint. But the thing is, just doing the same thing as last year might not be the route to success for BYU. Bears looking to level up this season, and a way that I think many people expect Bear to level up is in the passing game. Last year, he threw for over 3,000 yards, which was really impressive as a true freshman. Any quarterback to go over 3,000 is impressive, but still, I think we all kind of came away from that season, Bear included, to feel like there's more to be had there from Bear the passer in 2026, because we know he's an outstanding runner. How much will he turn to the ground attack? And Aaron Roderick spoke with DJ and PK this week about the running aspect of Bear's game, and might see that less in 2026.
Just want to keep him healthy. At the end of last season, he was pretty banged up. And, in the championship game and then in the bowl game, he played really well in the bowl game. But that bowl game was kind of more like the formula we want to play with this year, where we ran him a little less, threw it a little more, and we didn't have LJ in that game. So if we can kind of have that type of formula, but we're still handing the ball 20 times to LJ, I think that's going to be a formula for success.
Last year, Nate, Bear had, for his rushing totals, 147 carries, 527 yards on the ground, 11 touchdowns. You go to that bowl game that Aaron Roderick referenced, he had 1 rush, 0 yards. Do you buy that will materialize where he basically is not running as much, if at all, this season?
I'm going to say yes, and I say that because I think as long as BYU has available running backs in the room, I think yes. Because LJ Martin was banged up at the end of the season, obviously didn't play in that Pop-Tarts Bowl, as mentioned. But beyond him, there wasn't many guys last year. Javessa DeMooney had a few good reps. Preston Rex had some run. Sione Moa, I think, could have done a lot last year, but he was gone basically the entire season. And so assuming that those guys can stay healthy, you don't want Bear to run the ball 147 times in a season just because of what happens in the Texas Tech game in the Big 12 Championship. I'm looking back at that drive, that first drive of the Big 12 Championship game against Texas Tech. 14 plays, 90 yards, took 6:50 off the clock. That was probably BYU's best drive of the entire season, but Barrow's already banged up. He bangs up his ankle, and then he wasn't the same the rest of that game. So you definitely want him to rely more on his arm, and I think people might think that's going to be kind of dependent on the receivers. I think it's more dependent on the running backs. As long as LJ can stay healthy, I think you're just fine. But beyond LJ, you don't want LJ to be toting the rock, 30 or 40 times a game anyway. So you want to have other guys back there.
Don't you think, though? Bear is an outstanding runner.
He's a great runner.
I just feel like he's a former linebacker. He's a former fullback. Like he's wired to take off and run. I think that A-Rod absolutely will not design many just specific quarterback runs, but I wonder if there's going to be times where Bear's just like, I got to go and run. And I think that's still, A-Rod wants that too, but how often does he do that? Now, avoid the 22 carries against Arizona type games. Yes, do not do that anymore, please. But 5 to 7 carries, I think that's still valuable because he's a guy that can pop off a big run.
Yeah, I think it's all going to be situational. And look, Bear's a really smart guy. I think he understands the situation. I think his, just showing the last year, it took him until game 5 to throw his first interception. He's a really smart player. He understands the situations. If BYU's in a 3rd and 7 and he makes contact with the defender at the 5-yard mark, he's going to put down his shoulder and make that extra 2-yard gain for the first down. The problem I have is him getting injured on the first drive of the game in the Big 12 championship game because he was running the ball too much. So I think situation-wise, yes, absolutely. Even if it's a first down and he's dropping back and there's nobody there, yeah, tuck the ball and run. But maybe we see a few more slides this year and running out of bounds. And I think that's one thing that last year he just didn't do a great job of. He took a lot of big shots, and that's not something that's sustainable. And even with the big body, playing at 250 last year, I don't know how that's going to change it this year if he's playing at 220, 230, because I think he'll be a little quicker on his feet, but at the same time, he might not have that same durability if he doesn't have that as much weight. I think it's just him being smarter, understanding when to take off and run, and then how to end those runs as well, just making sure you're not taking excessive hits. That
bowl game that Aaron Roderick noted, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, against Georgia Tech through the air, Bear was 27 of 38, 325 passing yards, 71% completion rate, 1 TD, 1 INT. You have those type of passing numbers, Cougar fans are going to love that. I really wonder if Bear can replicate those type of numbers consistently week after week. I think he's got it in him. I do think there's going to be a step up in the passing department, and we could see, even a few more 300-yard games from Bear. Last year he had 3. He had West Virginia 351, Iowa State 307, which was a game pretty much without LJ. So the 2 games in particular where LJ was pretty much out, MIA, he goes off for 300. So I think that's exciting too about this season.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have more safety nets as well. So I think LJ is going to play a bigger role in the passing game this year. And then I think the 2 tight ends too, because Carson Ryan was awesome last year, especially towards the back half of the year. But having both Roger Saliapaga and Walker Lyons and LJ Martin, those are 3 guys I think he'll be able to rely on quite a bit. So maybe when the pocket does start to collapse, he doesn't have to maybe try to make a play with his legs. He'll be able to dump the ball off to a tight end who I think will have a big impact on the season this year.
After Bear Bachmeier, there's questions at that backup quarterback spot. Here's A-Rod on the backup QB situation.
If we played today, Trayson Bourget would be number 2. He's doing a really good job. He knows our offense well. I have a lot of confidence in him. And then Enoch Watson, though, is right on his heels. That guy is talented. He's got really, really a high ceiling, and he is learning the offense and handling it really well. He's done a great job. So a lot of confidence in him too. If we played today, it'd probably be Trayson, but we're still working our way through that.
And BYU's QB2 is BYU fans' favorite fall camp reporter, Trayson Bourget today. Every day on X, he's been posting his standouts from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and today, just about 40 minutes ago, he writes, my day 4 fall camp standouts. Offense, Kyle Safarachuk. Physical, athletic, and plays with a nasty edge. Has all the tools to dominate up front. Defense, Braxton Lindsey. Kid just scratching the surface, relentless motor with the speed and strength to make an immediate impact. So Cougar Nation, because he's the fall camp update guy, they want him as QB2, and A-Rod is saying as of now that Trayson is that QB2.
One of my favorite things to watch on these videos that BYU sends us, because they don't let us watch very much practice, he's got a great deep ball.
He does.
It's an awesome deep ball, and that's one thing I have kind of missed really last season, because before that Jake Retzlaff was pretty money on the deep ball, but he throws a great ball, and he's got starting experience, so I think that gives him a leg up over a guy like Enoch Watson too. But I agree. I think what's going to be interesting is if you're in a position where BYU has to have a long-term quarterback play that's not Bear Bachmeier, do they still lean on Trayson Bourget, who is in his last year of college eligibility, or do they lean with kind of the future and Enoch Watson, knowing that also Ryder Lyons is going to be on the team next year? Does it really matter if you go that route? I don't know. It's going to be hopefully we never have to see that, but maybe we get a little glimpse or something in the Utah Tech game when BYU is rolling out a second-string quarterback in the third quarter and they're up 65-0.
Now, while Cougar Nation on X is probably pulling for Trayson to be QB2 because he's the fall camp update guy, Cougar Nation on TikTok is probably pulling for Enoch Watson. Have you ever seen Enoch Watson's TikTok page?
No, I have not.
Enoch Watson is like a TikTok star. He's not quite Ryder Lyons star, but anytime I see Enoch Watson on the FYP, he can just do the most basic things. Just, kind of do like look into the camera, look dreamy. He's got 100 women just in his comments saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm just blown away by this man's beauty." So if we see this fall, there was that video I think last year where there was some students saying, "Hey, who's the hottest guy on the BYU football team?" And I think it was Chase Roberts was kind of like the consensus. Sione Moa had some votes too. I have a feeling Enoch Watson's probably going to be that guy. Him and Pearson Watson, his brother, are those dudes on BYU football this year. I'm just saying, I'm not looking at that, but I keep tabs of all things BYU, and Enoch Watson's that dude. He's holding it down. But I think Enoch, though, from a talent perspective, he is really exciting. I think he is someone that's going to be really good, and I hope that he continues to progress. I'll be curious to see how this continues to develop that backup quarterback spot for BYU. Let's take a quick break. Let's pivot to BYU Hoops, get an update on BYU's roster build in hoops for this upcoming season. Let's get on that next here on Cougar Sports Saturday.